What happened? Apparently, we got the multi-decade-year-old dilemma of streamers or content creators and not being able to take accountability. Today on the chopping blocks, we got Nina Lynn. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it seems like every other weekend that it's another content creator that can't take accountability for something. Let's get into it. Let's see what
Last October, there was a lot of instances that happened with our group member, Nina.
Yo, you might be fucking retarded, bro.
Wait, what happened? Wait, don't tell me she got banned out of the American shadow realm and that, brother, and then transferred. You know what I'm trying to say? And then tried to switch communities and content scenes and all of that, bro.
You good in the head? Take it off. Hey, yo, cut the cameras.
Me blood clot.
Yo, cut the cameras, bro.
It was
Don't do
wild.
shit.
You know, one of the things that made it hard for us to continue as a group was
off,
that it always had to be
crazy
her way.
to me.
And it would always be, well, I'm gonna do with me. Time and time again, like, hey, you know, we are trying to hold what we thought was a friend accountable, and that friend says we're not being friends because we're trying to hold them accountable.
Well, I darn near forgot about Nina Lynn, but it seems as though the rain is continuing to pour on her. Just a year ago, she seemed to have one of the most bubbling and bright careers in the new streaming era. Collaborations with Agent, appearances on Streamer University, connections with the FaZe guys, and she had a consistent group channel, 03, that was actually doing very, very well with some very, very prominent members. But within a year, all of that
I know her.
Is that one thing and one thing only?
Is that the girl that made the whole Kaisen up? Wait a minute. That might not be her, actually. Let me not say anything.
Very, very
I ain't trying to be racist over here, bro.
All
Might
of
not
that
be her.
went away, and it was
I'm
due
not
to one
100%.
thing and one thing only: her inability to hold herself accountable for her actions, apologize, do the work, and ultimately move on. So when her group decided to put out a video talking about how they decided to part ways from her, I thought it would be a perfect time to teach the lesson that you cannot escape your digital footprint. And at the end of the day, accountability trumps all. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna hold you guys accountable. You're consuming content from me. The least you can do is click that little subscribe button down below. It will go a long, long way for this community. Now, back into
Nah, that's a fact though, bro. But why go on for these content creators, bro? It's like they're literally just all falling down one by one in that, bro. They're literally like you said, the digital footprint is literally coming back to shoot them in the foot every single time and that. But it's one of them things. Once you start to get money, once you start to get fame, once you have flipping thousands and thousands of people at your beck and call and all eyes on you and that, bro, that's when your true colors will show in that, bro. You know what I mean? Are you going to improve as a person? Are you going to decline as a person? Is one of your traits going to come front and center? You get me, with a negative or positive? Like, what's going to happen? When those things start to culminate and that, well, that's when you start to see people's true colors in that, man, and what they do with the power that they hold in that, man. And more time, this is what happens in that, bro. You can't unlame a lame, you know what I mean?
little subscribe button down below. It will go a long, long way for this community. Now, back into the video. Like I said, Nina Lynn had a sweet deal. Most content creators up by themselves, build their own audience, build their own brand, and not taking it away from her, she did that in her own regards. But she quickly was able to team up with two very solid YouTubers, Jimmy Zhang, who has 1 million subscribers, and Edward So, who basically has 1 million subscribers, in order to create a group channel called 03. They would do IRL lifestyle content, dating style challenges, you know, the typical 20v1 AMP-esque videos. And this, coupled along with her appearances with people like Fan or Wendy Ortiz, meant that Nina Lynn had a fast track to being one of the biggest names in not just streaming, but content creation as a whole. I think one very underrated thing about Nina is her background. I'm talking about her ethnicity, nationality, and her race. She was going to be somebody who was going to be able to resonate with a whole Eastern culture.
Oh, that's the thing, exactly.
Could not do. In fact, she
kind of like Phantom as well with the Spanish market and that, bro. You definitely have an advantage there.
Whole Eastern culture that those in the United States could not do. In fact, she acted as some sort of medium / translator for content creators in the past because they needed her to basically gain access to that whole culture that has billions of people in it. But instead of nurturing this opportunity that she had, Nina ultimately squandered it. Over the past year, Nina Lynn has been in controversy after controversy after controversy after controversy. And I'm not gonna go into super depth about it. I've made plenty of videos, whether it be her just being a general nuisance at a nail salon, her in this kleptomania that she just has in her body, and definitely the Saeed situation where she not only participated in the essay, but also then went on to deny the essay over and over and over and over and over again. Now, off top,
Bro, we caught you in 4K. We literally caught you in 4K and you tried to cut the 4K footage by saying, cut the cameras, do your thing and that, bro. Like, pattern up, man. You get what I'm trying to say?
Controversy isn't something that is like career ending. We've seen different content creators go through many a different controversies, some that I would say are way worse than what Nina even went through, but have ultimately bounced back from those things. They've then gone on to have bigger, better, greater careers than even before they were in said controversy. But if I had to say the one thing that would define if you are going to bounce back and then bounce up out of this atmosphere, or bounce up and then bounce down through the floor when it comes to being a controversial figure, is one thing and one thing alone, and that's accountability for your actions.
Nina, you somebody, Nina, you shoplifted. Can we tone it down? All of that just like in one ear out the other. Hey, maybe it's not okay to do that to a mom who's out in the salon or whatever. Maybe it's not okay to do that at Target. Maybe it's not okay to do that to a taxi driver. There's a lot of things that weren't okay, and it would always be, well, I'm gonna do me. Time and time again, like, hey, we are trying to hold what we thought was a friend accountable, and that friend says we're not being friends because we're trying to hold them accountable.
Neither brown nor white sugar was
This is the other thing though, bro. Wait a minute, what?
And that friend says we're not being
Oh,
friends
Meezy
because
say?
we're trying to hold them accountable.
Neither brown nor white sugar was involved in this coding because they kept it pretty straightforward. Nina Lynn is
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. But this is what I'm saying though. Where did she go wrong though, man? Where did she go wrong? Because that's the thing I always say when it comes to African parents or just African culture, Caribbean culture, and Asian cultures, bro, man are very, very strict. So for her to even be engaging in this type of activity is kind of crazy to me, man. Like, where did it all go wrong, bro? And the maddest thing is as well, there's been an absolute multitude of content creators that come up from being controversial and have just a whole heap of controversial clips and pushing the boundaries and being edgy, but eventually they mature and then they stop doing that type of content. KSI is an example of that. Even to an extent, the Paul brothers and all these type of guys, like if you look at the stuff that these guys were doing at one point in time, you mature and realize, you know what, I need to just chill on certain things. And obviously things change, the world in general changes and how people receive certain things. But in general, I feel like people mature and then they change their content. People like Nina Lynn and Aiden Rosberg, like I don't see a maturity with them guys. So I feel like they're still stuck in this whole trolling, I'm a crush out, dirty. You get what I'm trying to say? But who's a good... Black Boy Max is the perfect example. Black Boy Max and that, bro, obviously still does said things and that, bro, but he's also another person that if you look at his whole flipping digital footprint, kind of crazy. But in like the past year, 2 years, bro, he's matured a lot, bro. And when he's in certain situations and that, even if he's not the reason that he's in that situation, or if he's having controversy with someone else, he looks at it at a multitude of angles and looks at it from his perspective and also the other person's or other people's as well, to try kind of get multiple, you know what I'm saying, scenarios or dissect the situation in a multitude of ways and that, bro. And I feel like that maturity kind of takes those guys out of that type of content. You get me? But I don't know, with Nina, with Aiden and that, man, it's like they're forever just going to be immature, bro. And with Aiden, it's kind of like, all right, Nina though, bro. Especially when you have people around you that are trying to hold you accountable as well. And you're still just saying, yeah, nah, in one ear, out the other, bro. I don't know.
Don't have the same values, morals, and principles as. And therefore, we are going to go ahead and sever ties with her. According to the two other members of the group 03, Nina Lynn constantly wanted to do things her way, was the loudest one in every single argument. She struggled to see other people's perspectives, and they could not.
It might be superstar syndrome, bro. Like I said, she got the fame, all of that type of stuff, and that, bro, her numbers skyrocketing and that, man, and she just feels untouchable. It's one of them, but she'll get a wake-up call soon.
The loudest one in every single argument. She struggled to see other people's perspectives, and they could not come to an agreement on what they stood for. In other words, it wasn't just one mistake, but it was the problem as to how she handled every single mistake. Shameless plug, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record every single time I say this, but you know, some people don't know that I did these things in my past, and also I like to give my real world experience as to how things go on behind the scenes. But I did work for a big group, one of the biggest groups on the internet right now. I'll give you a little bit of secret. It's 3 letters. It features 6 guys. AMP. And I also have a current podcast, which is essentially a group channel as well, where I have 2 other co-hosts. And I'm here to tell you that the behind the scenes things that 03 said that they struggled with Nina Lynn are things that happen in every single group. There's constantly going to be bickering. There's going to be people who are super creative trying to come to one conclusion, and somebody's going to be very loud in the conversation as to why their POV is the better way to go in this particular time. And as far as vision goes, hell, life changes those things. things. So oftentimes people aren't aligned as to what they're gonna do in the next year, 2 years, or hell, 6 months even. But at the end of the day,
I feel like you just gotta have grace, bro. It's like being in a relationship with your girl or with your man or whatever, and that, man. You're gonna get into certain situations and that, bro. Sometimes you're even gonna know you're not in the wrong. And you might just have to apologize in that, bro, just so you can dead the situation and flip and get on with your life. Because you know both of you guys are stubborn, or your partner's stubborn. She's not gonna apologize. He's not gonna apologize. And even though it burns your soul, you walk up to them and say, baby, I'm sorry. You get me? Even if it was your fault or not. I feel like you kind of have to do that within groups and that, have a certain level of understanding and that, man. With any relationship, you get, whether it's business, whether it's professional, whether it's personal and that, man. You got to give each other grace and that, man, and be understanding and appreciate that. Yeah, certain times I want things my way, but at certain times it's not always gonna be like that. You get me? So all right, say less. This time we'll do it your way. We'll do it your way. You know what I mean?
They're gonna do in the next
level of understanding,
2
man.
years, or hell, 6 months even. But at the end of the day, the reason why AMP is still around, my podcast, Let's Keep It a Buck podcast, is still around, the Sidemen are still around, or any other group content is still around, is because accountability and compromise are something that continuously happen in those organizations. And I don't even have to be a part.
And they can go do their solo careers, all do their solo stuff, and then come back and get straight back to business, man. And even now in this period where we're not seeing AMP as much together, yeah, cool, they did a game night the other day and they released the driving school video, but the videos are far and few between, all the full AMP stream collaborations or whatever. And you have people saying, oh yeah, they broke up, Phantom is the realist, he's the only one left, Like, you always have murmurs and that, man, but they just ignore that, bro. Go do what they need to do and then come back, be there for each other and that, bro. Behind the scenes, the internet don't need to know everything. And when you provide content, you provide content,
compromise, man. Are something that continuously happen in those organizations. And I don't even have to be a part of them to know that. So if I think the thumbnail needs to be red and my podcast mate B Souls thinks the podcast needs to be blue, ultimately somebody needs to come to a compromise. And it can't always be my way or the highway. Otherwise, it's not a group channel, it's somebody's solo project with some reoccurring castmates. And if you're gonna do that, gang, then I might as well stay on my own damn platform and do whatever I wanna do. No, that's just the surface level stuff. There's also the fact that there's an accountability issue every time that Nina Lynn gets into some sort of scandal. Here's the truth about the internet. Creators can survive just about anything, any situation, any sorts of adversity, any bad problems, as long as they are self-aware about how they participated in that action. We've seen public mistakes, bad behavior, bad tweets, scandals, the list goes on and on and on. Hell, I even think
there's been scams, bro, flipping murder involved, dead bodies involved in that, bro, essay and that, bro, and countless people have all made it back once again and that, bro, to the, you get what I mean, to the forefront and that, and continue to make content.
Bad behavior, bad
which is crazy.
Tweets, scandals, the list goes on and on and on. Hell, I even think it's a problem in today's society that we are so forgiving, but that's just the reality of what it is. But the problem is when faced with those things that I just mentioned, if you're arrogant and your ego is forthcoming in all of these situations, then you're not gonna have a bunch of fans who will support you going forward. And these are some of the criticisms of Nina Lynn as told by others. She dismisses backlash, she calls critics soft, she refuses to apologize, and oftentimes she doubles down in said behavior.
I be holding Ron accountable for shit, I be holding Adapt accountable for shit, they be holding me accountable for shit. As a group, you gotta come together and hold each other accountable. And sometimes you're not always right, man, and selfish people in a...
Yeah, man. I don't know, I don't know if you guys want to be taking advice from the phase guys. Just saying. I'm just saying, and obviously experience is going to be there, but I don't know if you want to be taking advice from the phase guys, bro. You hear me? Just saying, though.
Sometimes you're not always right, man, and selfish people in a group would never work out, man. Facts.
You would never see me in a car with Jason Lewine, I promise.
I get that. You beef with him too?
No, he beef with me. I don't beef with him. Because everyone's bitch made. What do you want me to do? You bitch made, it is what it is, bro. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, when you have this mentality, when someone's actually trying to tell you and that, bro, that you can't operate in a life having a don't give a F mentality. You can't operate in life like that. So someone's actually trying to give you an advice and that, bro. So, because right now she has a rough course and she'll admit it as well. People are trying to help you to have some smooth sailing and that, bro, and go through this content creation path and that, bro, in a smooth rate and not constantly being controversy. And if your whole thing or takeaway from that situation is his beefing me, bro, like, bro, come on now, man. She's like a 12-year-old in that, bro, and however she hold his body, like, you know what I mean? Like a 12-year-old in a... How old is Nina? 27 or something in that really 27-year-old body. Like, allow me,
Stuff
man.
like that is where the controversy stops being entertaining and starts becoming exhausting. When you start to be known for things like that, then ultimately people are going to want to move away from you. They're not going to want to hang out with you. Not only because their community
I get it
has
bang on.
issues
Oh no, she's 24. Mad thing.
with you, people don't like to continuously see these arrogant people,
2001,
creators,
crazy.
etc., especially because a lot of these content creators are fan funded in the first place. Like the subscriptions and the watch time is all done by fans. Why would I want to watch somebody who is some sort of arrogant asshole? But also other content creators will move away from you because you're annoying and the fan perspective is just lost. You slowly start to burn those bridges over time. And then it becomes a sort of situation where people start to feel like they are guilty by association. And honestly, I think that that's a fair and valid criticism. I know that there's been some conversation about that this past weekend about hanging out with streamers who do controversial things as somebody who is a non-controversial streamer. But ultimately, people are going to start questioning who you align with as a content creator. If you're a controversial streamer and you keep going wild and you keep going crazy, somebody who is just a simple desktop reactor who is, pretty nonchalant and chill is not going to want to be seen with you, because if they are seen with you, audiences are going to start to speculate and question where your values lie. This conversation to me isn't about shoplifting,
the IRL game,
arguments,
changed
viral
everything.
clips, or just the other outrageous and controversial things that people say. Everybody on the internet is not perfect. Hell, I do wild stuff, from time to time. But at the end of the day, if you can acknowledge where you mess up, apologize for the things that you say, and then look to grow afterwards, then I think that everybody's okay with you being a simple human being. But if you double and triple down on those things, gaslight people, and then ultimately shit on not only just your fan base, but the other fan bases around you, that's when people have a problem. Now, do I think that this is the end of Nina Lynn? Absolutely not. Maybe for videos on this channel, unless she does some of the most absolute insane shit in the world, then of course I'm gonna get it off. I got a wedding to pay for. But I think even greater than her losing a couple of different fans or the commentators POV where they're giving videos for Nina Lynn, I think she's losing something that is much more detrimental. That network that she had, the one that allowed her to go to these big and major events and be broadcasted to a much wider audience. Nina Lynn got something that people begged for, an opportunity, a chance, a platform, and a network that afforded her endless opportunities in this content creation field. And she squandered it because she couldn't take accountability for clear mistakes that she had done in her past. And I hope that this serves as some sort of lesson for any other content creators going forward. The internet is very, very, very forgiving, but you have to be willing to do something for that forgiveness and not be a dickhead and an asshole.
Yeah, I clocked, bro. She's moving like a kick streamer on Twitch and that, fam, and that can't run. You know what I mean? Not to say you can't do certain things on Twitch, bro, because people be whining on Twitch as well, without a doubt, and that, man. But yeah, she has that kick type of energy. But at the same time, bro, isn't she associates with Zoe Spencer and that, bro? Like, their situations isn't identical, and what they do isn't identical, but is kind of similar. And you guys have one of the craziest clips in streaming history, bro. In streaming history, bro. But learn from your friend, fam. We don't really see her around too tough. Yeah, nah, I'm just saying. Because before, normally, even though Zoe Spencer, I never followed or subscribed to or anything like that, I would always see her streams pop up and she's always at this event and that event and this event and that event and da. You know what I mean? Now I feel like she's kind of, I don't know if she's taking a back seat or if just her streams and her numbers have kind of like nosedived a little bit. So I'm not really seeing her. Learn from your friend, bro. Because at the same time, she's at a point now. I feel like Nina Lynn's at a point now where she kind of has to make a choice. She can continue with this path right here and take an absolute nosedive, and it seems like she is, because a lot of people are trying to help her and kind of give her advice, and she doesn't want to take it, so she most likely is going to keep on going downhill. Or she can go the other way in that, brother, and actually try to, you know what I'm saying, grow as a person in that, man. Because the thing is, the problem isn't having the crazy clips and all of that on the internet. It's just constantly recreating them and recreating them and recreating them. That's the downfall to a lot of guys in that, bro. You can undo it. We have some of the biggest content creators in the world in that, bro, that have the craziest digital footprint, and they're still here, man. You know what I mean? Because it more so matters about what you're doing right now, unless something you did in the past was that detrimental. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that one, though. It's your boy Jazz. I'm gone in a bit, people.